What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 16th of July, and here we are at about 19.47 cents right now. Up not really much on the day. It's a very neutral day so far. We're going to look at the short-term stuff and then zoom out to the long-term stuff. Let's get into it, all right? Here we are, 1 hour time frame. Maybe even let's look at it's been neutral, so the 15-minute time frame probably won't get us too much. Yeah, looking at the 1 hour time frame, things do look bullish. I must say, things do look pretty damn bullish. Consolidating above the 50 here like this, getting rejected off the overbought zone, but then finding support here. I do like the way this looks. I don't necessarily like how it looks overall right here, but as of right now, just this little area, I am momentarily bullish on this. I would say that we look like we're going to get into that overbought zone. And by the way, whenever I say I don't like how this looks overall, that doesn't mean it's bearish. I just mean it's neutral, right? I like this. This overall looks good, or like maybe going back here. I don't even know if that's good overall. Let's see if we can find a good. These are all very neutral kind of things that we're looking at here. There you go. This overall is bullish, right? This is kind of bearish. This is neutral, right? It's been neutral. So and that moment right there, that's pretty bullish too. But I think that we are about to get into the overbought zone, which is exciting, right? Getting overbought is definitely nice, is a nice thing to see. And when we do get overbought, we should be breaking out of this range here. I think if we're looking at the price, you can see that we have a trend line, potentially. I'm assuming here, but let's just look at it. We have a trend line right here. Whenever we've gotten up to this area, we've rejected it. We've rejected it, right? Rejected immediately. We're kind of consolidating. I feel like it looks like we're consolidating right before the breakout. So with something like this, typically, and this is not always the case, but I have noticed in my time doing TA that if you consolidate this far below the line, the trend line, when you break out, you probably backtest and find support there, and then you continue to run. So don't be surprised if we break out, we see prices above this high, and then we come back and we find support here, something like that over the coming hours. By the end of this day and even going into tomorrow, we could be consolidating. But tomorrow should be a good day for Cookie. I think tomorrow will break out to the upside. The 1 hour time frame getting in the overbought zone will definitely help that cause for sure. Looks like you had a little volatility in the last hour, but so did Bitcoin, so did everything, I'm sure. I mean, man, Bitcoin's just been crazy. On the 5-minute time frame here, it's very volatile. 15-minute time frame, you can still see it, but it just doesn't. It's not as pronounced, but just crazy volatility. I mean, it's nothing too crazy. I shouldn't say it's too crazy, but just going from 119.8K down to 118.4K, over $1,000 moves, you know, in like back-to-back 15 minutes, up and down we go. It's just crazy volatility. 4 hour time frame here, looking at this. We are bouncing off the 40, little double bottom off the 40 area here. It kind of looks like you have a bull flag, right, where you moved up and you're flagging out here, so that should take you into the overbought zone. Tomorrow, Thursday, should be the day that you get into that overbought zone. So Thursday, Friday, end of the week, looking to shape up well for an end-of-week pump and rally here. That's good to see. It looks like you have an overall kind of like W shape in this RSI, and you're just consolidating right before you break above the middle point here. And whenever you do that, whenever you break above there, you likely will see, again, some spectacular growth. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we had a stronger reading than we did last time. How far up did that take you? I mean, that was a nice move, right? That was a pretty damn nice move. Looks like it took like a day and a half, 2 days, 34%. I would bet that from here you see a stronger move than that. Is this a bull flag? It's a pretty, it might be a bull flag. It's a pretty wide flag, you know, if we're being honest. It is a pretty wide flag, but if it is a bull flag, the target area would be 23.5 cents. Let's see if we can make sense out of that. Yeah, we can make sense out of that. Maybe even a little bit higher than that, or a little bit lower, but I would think that we go higher than that. I don't think that we stop there. I don't know if I'd call this a bull flag, honestly. So I don't expect it to perform like, I mean, it'll perform like one in the sense of when you break out, you're going to be moving up. But I would bet that you go above this line here, above 23.5 cents. If we're looking at this from an overall high to the low of this pattern, and that is your golden ratio right there. All right. There's a chance you can stop at 23.5 cents, 23.4 cents, whatever. But understand with these smaller fib retracements, and this is a small fib retracement, when you get into the extensions, oftentimes you actually don't stop in the 1618, 1272 primary zone. You actually go to the secondary zone, the 1886 to the 2618, and sometimes even above that. So yes, it's possible we could stop around 23.5 cents, sure. But I'm thinking more so 24.5 cents to 28 cents is probably where you're going to go. And right there, smack dab in the middle of that is this prior area of resistance right here. There's also a prior area of support right above the 2272, right there at like 26.5 cents. I like that. I bet that's where you move up. a little bit of a stronger move, right? You kick up, move up a little bit, consolidate. You'll probably find support at the golden ratio and then continue to rally, right? Something like that. Consolidate over the weekend, pump into the end of the week, consolidate over the weekend, and then next week continue to rally. That's what I'm looking at so far. That makes sense to me. Just because it makes sense to me doesn't mean it has to happen. But overall, the 4-hour RSI is very bullish. Very, very bullish indeed. Getting overbought like that, not getting oversold, higher lows, it looks good. Very boring, but you turned your boring into exciting, and it's about to get even more exciting, I think, here. Probably by the end of the day, and certainly into tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be the day, right? If not today, we don't have too much time left in the day, though. 7 hours, 36 minutes left. But that's enough time to do some damage, that's for damn sure. Overall, what we're looking for to invalidate this bearish pattern setup that you have, right? Because this is a left shoulder here. Here's your head. Here's your right shoulder here, right? You've got this. I drew it pretty ugly, but right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right? To avoid the dilemma of this head and shoulders pattern sending you down like 70%, all you got to do is get above 21 cents. That's it, right? There's no ands, ifs, or buts. You don't have to close. Once you wick above here, you do that. It's not a head. It's either a head and shoulders pattern that's busted, or it's just not a head and shoulders pattern anymore. It's something else, right? And I think that this really was just a horizontal consolidation phase right here, a little box, as I like to call it. And you've broken out above that box. You're finding support on it, and now you're going to tear through into the next zone there. If we're looking at the high to low relative, nope, that was not the high. We're going to get it, though. We're going to get that high. Come on now. There we go. High to low, 382, 236 consolidation. The yellow line to the red line. Next stop is the golden ratio. And hey, look at that. It takes you right up here, probably to that 26.5 cent zone. 27.6, 25.8, something in this area here. That's likely where you're going to stop. Okay. Cookie DAO has not been respecting its Fibonacci retracements or extensions really at all. But it is respecting this one for whatever reason. I mean, look at that. Perfect respect of the 236, the 069, the 382, the 2. It's perfect. So with this perfect setup, I'm assuming you're going to hit that golden ratio and stop there. Then you'll probably find support at the 0.5382 area and then continue to rally. Once you get above 33 cents, once we see multiple 4-hour time frames closing above 33 cents or a daily time frame closing above 33 cents, you're home free. Okay. It's time to start thinking about 50 cents to 65 cents, even let's say 55 to 65 cents. And then once you break above 65 cents, it's time to start thinking about new all-time highs, okay? I would expect that by the end of the month, which we're already halfway through the month at this point in time, like quite literally to the day, halfway through the month, or we're in the second half of the month technically, I would expect by the end of the month we are at least above 50 cents. We could be at new all-time highs by the end of the month, but I think that'll be reserved for next month, August. With that being said, if we're at new all-time highs by the end of the month, that's great. But I doubt we're too much, like maybe even a little bit above the dollar, maybe even a little bit above the dollar, but nothing too crazy, right? The crazy stuff, $1.65 to $3.90, that comes in next month, August. And it's probably going to come in the mid to late point of August. And this is why, just with that time frame, right, if we're up here by the end of July, I mean, we'd pump to this area in the beginning of August or the first half. So that doesn't line up with my time frame. I'm thinking that we might be a little bit more methodical on approach, right? Up here, down, up, down, and then as it's the end of the month here, we're consolidating, moving up, moving down, and then end of the month, middle of the month, August, that's when we're in this area. I'm expecting a price of around 234 to 390 personally, probably somewhere in the middle. I'm thinking 250 to 270, right? That's my personal expectation. We could stop a little bit below there. We could stop a little bit above there. And it's completely possible that we do go to 390, you guys. I would think that's the limit. That's like the limit of our capabilities, at least for this run going into August. And then afterwards, we should consolidate, I think, in the end of August going into September, start pumping back in October. That's my expectation because September typically is a red month. And I think the last 2 Septembers in a row that we've had have not been red months. So I think we're overdue for a red month. With that being said, September's it is one of the most common red months that we have in crypto, but it's not a bad month. Like the average, in fact, on average, those red months close like less than 10% to the downside for Bitcoin. So it's a very neutral kind of month. It's actually better to say that September's a very neutral month, not really a red month. But technically, if we're going by colors, red and green, if you want to segregate the colors, then yes, there are more reds than greens. But the last 2 in a row have been greens. So more reds than greens. Last 2 have been green. I would think that we're overdue for a red. We're probably going to pump going into August, and then September we chill. Does that make sense? October we'll resume moving up, and that should be when we start to see prices above $10, making our way to even higher prices going into the end of the year and going into 2026. We should be seeing prices at around $20 to $100. I know it sounds crazy, man. I know it does. 19.6 cents now. I've had people laugh at that call for a long time. I had people laugh at my calls for Dogecoin too last cycle, but hey, it did pretty well. It definitely did pretty well. I bought below 1 cent, and I thought that it was going to go beyond 69 cents, and it did. It actually went right there to like 73 cents. So I'm just saying, man, crazy things can happen in a very short amount of time in this market. Every single cycle, there are coins that do multi-hundred X's, right? Why not this one? It's in a hot new sector, the AI sector. AI is kicking up and getting more popular day by day. People are looking for AI cryptos. Crypto and AI go hand in hand together. And it's got a very low market cap, and yet it's got some of the better tech whenever it comes to the AI sector, better fundamentals whenever it comes to that as well. I don't have anything else that I want to say, guys. I've said everything I need to say. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.